on, everybody? Thank you so much for coming back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is Quentin Tarantino's latest film and stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and Margot Robbie. This story is about a fictional actor as well as his stuntman. We got Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt here, and touches a little bit on the Charles Manson murders. You got Sharon Tate in there, who was famously known for being killed by the whole Manson murders. I won't get too deep really into the narrative or anything that really happened, so I don't spoil anything for you. If you've seen a Quentin Tarantino film before, I think you can go into this film expecting a lot of the things that Quentin Tarantino does very well, and it's just the things that are part of his style, the really long takes that are really, dialogue heavy, the really long takes that just happen where you're just watching somebody walk or just somebody drive by. Yeah, that's his style, and so you're gonna have these long takes. This is a pretty long film. It's almost 3 hours, and I think the biggest issue I had with this film is that it does feel that long. There's definitely elements of the film that drag. There's definitely really slow moments. However, as a fan of Quentin Tarantino, though I have never done a review for him on this channel just yet, I really enjoy his films. The majority of his films are really, really high up there for me. I think this was definitely on the lower echelon of Quentin Tarantino films for me, but I did enjoy this film. I think without a doubt, my favorite thing about this film is easily the performances. I think Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt really chew up the scenery in this film, and they really do sell this movie. I think if you didn't have the two of them in these roles, the movie probably would not be nearly as interesting, engaging, and fun. I really find myself enjoying their performances as the main entertainment of the film, because I think the biggest issue I had with this movie, outside of what I already mentioned, doesn't really feel to be a cohesive narrative. There isn't, a beginning, a middle, and end that really is set up and concluded at the end. There are things that are set up, and there is some conclusion for certain elements. For the most part, it's not really a film that I could really feel like I could sit down here and give you a plot synopsis, because it doesn't really have one. It's just a series of events that happen, and there are big plot moments in the film, but there really isn't like a beginning, middle, and end. The movie ends in a very Quentin Tarantino fashion. However, I don't feel like it gives you that resolution that a lot of other Quentin Tarantino films do give you. I think that there is some really great moments, especially in the last 10 to 15 minutes. There's just like some really, really awesome moments. It gets really intense in the last 10, 15 minutes. But I think that a lot of the film is a little slow. I think there's definitely a lot of it that could have been cut, some stuff that could have been trimmed out. And artistically, I think this film is beautiful. I think that, like I said, the performances are absolutely phenomenal. I think the costume design, the set design, and just the overall attention to detail that went into making the city, as well as just the people and everything around it, feel lived in. It made it feel like we were in '69. This film takes place in 1969. I had mentioned that already, but yeah, this is a really strong period piece that does a really good job of taking you back to that time. Everybody who's in the film feels of that time. The world around them feels like it's in that time. The cars, the outfits, everything about it, the hair, the way everybody spoke, and even the actors that they chose for extras and for main stars in this film. Everybody has this almost plain Jane look that kind of feels like it would go in that time frame, the kind of people that you would see when you look at images or when you watch old movies of that time. You just have these people that look very much like they're from the late 60s, early 70s, as far as their looks, their facial features, everything like that. And I really enjoyed that. While I was watching this movie, I never felt like I was out of the time. But yeah, without a doubt, biggest praises I can give this film artistically are the performances, the costume design, the set design. All those things really did a great job of making the film feel artistic and just very interesting to watch as somebody who loves film and loves seeing that much attention to detail put into these films. However, I do feel like this movie is gonna bore some. I found it really enjoyable. My girlfriend liked it as well, but I know that she found it a little bit more boring than I did, but I definitely found it pretty boring at times. I was still really engaged. We both were. We kept saying that we were really engaged with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio's performances. However, we both really felt that Margot Robbie was kind of wasted in this film. Like I mentioned, she plays Sharon Tate, and Sharon Tate is a huge part of the whole thing that happened with Charles Manson and those Manson murders. And in this film, she's in it. There's definitely some setup for her character, but she's not in it nearly as much as you would think she would be. And at the end, you almost feel like she didn't need to be in this movie. I enjoy Margot Robbie as an actress. I think she did a good job in this film, but she really wasn't given too much to do, and I feel like they kind of wasted an actress at the caliber of Margot Robbie. So yeah, I really don't know where I land on this. I think this is gonna be a shorter review because I liked the movie. Did I love it? No. Did I hate it? No. I've seen some people just say it's flat out boring and stupid. I definitely don't agree with that. And I've seen some people say that it was absolutely phenomenal, and I also don't agree with that. I thought it was a good time. I did enjoy it. As a fan of Quentin Tarantino, I thought it was a good movie. Really enjoyed it. I think the performances were a lot of fun to watch, and I think Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt just show why why they are at the level of acting that they are. They really sell each and every scene in this movie, and they made every scene feel impactful and really enjoyable. But I think that the narrative didn't really serve their performances nearly as well as their performances served the film. And you know, I wish that there would have been a stronger attachment for me narratively, outside of just enjoying the performers and watching their artistry, because I think that was the thing I took away from this film the most, was the artistry put into the film, but not so much the narrative to really grip me and maybe really even want me to come back and watch it again. I may buy this movie in the future just to have it in my collection and add to the rest of Quentin Tarantino films. However, I don't think it's a movie that I will throw on nearly as often as a lot of his other films, and I think that, again, it's going to bore some and it's going to really be awesome for some. But I definitely want to know where you guys lie, so let me know those comments down below. Did you like this movie? Did you not like this movie? Was it boring for you? Did you find it more exciting? I'm very, very curious. Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything else. This is going to be a shorter review, but yeah, this is a solid movie. I do recommend it. However, I do, suggest that you know what kind of movie you're going into before you watch it. Know the kind of movies that you're into. If this doesn't feel like your kind of movie, if you're not into slow burn films, you may find this to be a little boring and that it does drag at times. However, if you're like me and you just love film and you want to see something artistic and some really great performances, I think you'll have a great time with this. And also, if you're a fan of Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, I don't think this is the film you'll want to miss. They're really, really solid and great in this film. I think easily some of their better performances in the last few years, and I really enjoyed seeing Brad Pitt again in a big movie. He's been in movies, in the last few years, but really not too many. And to see Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt together in a film, I think was what made it really, really awesome for me, because those are two powerhouse actors, and that's why I was a little disappointed with the fact that Margot Robbie just didn't get as much screen time or even as much to do even with the narrative, the dialogue. I just feel like she was a little wasted in this film. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it, guys. I do like it. I do recommend it. Just know what you're walking into. Let me know again down in the comments if you guys like this movie. I definitely want to hear your thoughts. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and I will see all of you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.